Hello, and thank you for coming. Good evening. Well, speak, girls, speak.
Good afternoon. It's great to be here.
Good afternoon, Salt Lake City. It's a long way from Middle Earth to here, but I made it.
Right, now what would you like us to do? I know there are a lot of questions, and I believe they're going to come up on a screen. Is that correct? So I'm going to move forward so I can see the damn screen. Oh, did I say that out loud? Very good. Well, let's start off by me asking questions.
Okay.
Miranda Otto, what was your favorite part of shooting The Lord of the Rings?
My gosh, there were so many great parts of shooting The Lord of the Rings. I think my favorite memory is waking up in the car, driving to work, and seeing Edoras for the first time when they built that incredible set on top of Mount Sunday. That was astonishing to wake up to.
Yes. On that flat plain with all those mountains around.
All the mountains, and then that whole set that was on top of that mountain, that then they returned back to nature afterwards. So you can never see that set again.
Yeah. And as I remember it, we got out of the buses and we looked around and we saw the most beautiful landscape that we'd ever seen. And we all looked at each other and said, no one is going to believe this.
Yeah.
They're going to say it's just a painted backdrop. It was one of the most astonishing places that I've ever visited, and I've visited most places.
Yeah.
Tell
it was
me,
epic.
young man.
Epic.
Tell me, young man.
Yes.
Which of your many characters gave you most pleasure?
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. However, Lurtz would have been my favorite. Out of them all, even though it was 11-hour makeup,
Oof.
in the birthing Lurtz, where I was in the Orc chamber with Christopher Lee, that makeup took 11 hours and 4.5 hours to take off. But my ultimate scene was actually with Christopher Lee in that Orc chamber, working with a master. I only had a few lines, but I couldn't even get those out because I was so awestruck with Christopher being in front of me. Because he used to scare the shit out of me as a kid, when I was a kid. And when they were putting the makeup on me as the naked Lurtz, the birthing Lurtz, I was looking in the mirror and I was scared of myself in the mirror. And I said, I thought this would be the ultimate payback, to pay back Chris for scaring me all those years ago. So I said to my makeup artist, Gino, I said, I want to run on set and I want to scare the shit out of Christopher Lee. And they said, no, you can't do that. And I went, why not?
Do you remember him as the vampire?
Yeah.
In Dracula?
Yeah, Dracula.
Oh, God, I was about 11. I was walking up roads with the trees rustling in the dark, shaking with fear. It was wonderful.
And the ultimate payback would be to run on set and scare the shit out of Christopher Lee, this god. So I asked Gino, I want to do that. I want to run on set and scare the shit out of him. He said, no, you can't do that. And I went, why not? He goes, because he's 72 years old and his heart ain't what it used to be. And I said, so with a sad heart, I had to go in with my head down. Hi, I'm Lurtz. But that was my most memorable and favorite scene and character out of the whole three.
What was yours, John?
I think my most memorable was probably And it's a picture wrap for John. No, there were many. I mean, it was a glorious cast, fabulous crew, great script, genius director. I mean, everything was right. There was only one grumpy old bastard in the thing, and that was me.
It was definitely one of those things that when you were working on it, I had no doubt that it was going to be amazing. Like sometimes you work on things, you think they'll be great, and they're not. Sometimes you think it's not going to be good, and it is. But this one, I always knew the whole time that this was going to be a huge group of movies, and that people would continue to watch them for so many years. No doubt in my mind.
Now, I may have a bone to pick with you. You are not one of these guys who you, young man, you're not one of these guys who suggested that Gimli in battle was a little rough. You're not one
That's
of
an
those
understatement.
sissies, those wimps who complained about Gimli hitting them occasionally a little bit in their armor, in their
Yes.
armor-plated.
Someone didn't go to sword fight training. And some of us did. However, when we came up against you, like myself with Gothmog, this was just before I got killed. Well, I crawl over, and Gimli comes with his axe, and I went, oh, no. He's got no pullback. Yes, because I work with a lot of the stuntmen because I actually trained as a stuntman. I trained as a stuntman, not a pincushion. But yeah, and the stuntman came back with bruises and welts, and it was all just from one person.
I did stab somebody. I did. I stabbed one of the stunt guys, but I didn't know because it was through his orc costume, and so it must have gone into that. And then nobody told me until the end of the shoot that it had happened because they were worried that I would hold back then, that I'd get like nervous about hurting anybody. So they just said nothing.
Yeah, your stunt double gave me a good whack in the face.
Oh, no.
Amanda? Do you remember Amanda?
Yeah.
Her. I think I would rather have gotten punched by you.
What does that mean?
How long did it take you to get used to your costume?
Well, that didn't take long because it wasn't real heavy plated armor. They had the plastic armor, and so we could actually, because we did a lot of movements, fighting, running, so it did really get hot. But I had a bodysuit, a wet bodysuit that can cool me down during takes, because otherwise I had a sweat channel.
Yeah.
Because the actual top knot on Lurtz is this.
Right.
Right.
I've still got it. But yeah, this is the only part of my hair that's part of my character. And because of the mask, the molds and everything that you use over the prosthetics, well, I sweated a lot underneath there, and the sweat had nowhere to go. So they had to make a sweat channel down the bottom. You're on it all day for 12 hours, fighting, running, no toilet, no number ones, couldn't do anything like that. So no wonder, that's why Uruk-Hai was so pissed off. Because we weren't allowed to go to the toilet.
Death is actually welcome sometimes, isn't it? What about you? Did you...
I loved doing the fighting. I loved all the fighting sequences. It was heaps of fun as a girl to get to do that kind of stuff. And we had amazing, stunt trainers. And who was it who was our master trainer? Was it Bob? Was that his name, Bob? I can't remember now, but he was fantastic. And I don't know if I would be as fearless now as I was then. Like, the stunt guys just made you feel like you could do anything. And we were so well trained, and they would rehearse you through all these stunt sequences. I just had no fear about it at all. But now I don't know if I would be as fearless as I was then.
Well, I sometimes get asked, would you go back and be Gimli again? And I think, you know, there was the helmet which weighed 10 pounds, the boots which made 12 pounds, the costume, and then the chainmail and the armor, and that's a total of 80 pounds running up hills. Yeah, at 81, I don't think I'm really fit enough just yet. I could do it, but...
The armor was heavy. Like, it was heavy, even though they made it lighter than it would actually be if it was like real chainmail, because it was that plastic coated in metal. But it was still heavy, you know, because when I was fighting in a dress, it was much easier than fighting in all the helmet and the chainmail and the leather stuff, a really heavy costume.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know that Viking boys used to be given their first set of chainmail when they were 5? And they would add to it as the boy grew. So by the time he was 17 or 18 and fully grown, that 40 pounds of chain mail that he would be carrying was just part of his...
Just easy.
Yeah, just like the weight of a suit on
Right, right.
normally.
It's like when my daughter trained for exams, they used to strap batteries to the end of their pencils so that they could train them to write really fast. So that when they wrote with a pencil without the battery, that it was like so easy to write. So
Really?
you train yourself for the weight.
That's a new one on me. All right, then. Are we ready now? Oh, well, look, we've got 29 minutes and 18 seconds left.
Do we get questions? Do people have questions for us here? Is there a hello? In the middle.
Oh, there.
Right, now who's got the microphones for the questioners? Ah, very good. Fire away.
Hi. My question is, what is each one of your most memorable or impactful memories you have on Lord of the Rings, either on screen or off screen?
Mine would be that lovely evening at Edoras. We'd had I think it was a 3-hour drive to get there.
It was a long drive.
And my trailer was there, and Vigo's trailer was there. And I decided that I really didn't want to do a 3-hour drive back and then a 3-hour drive in the morning. So I decided I'd stay, and so did Vigo. And of course, production was worried because they hadn't arranged for us to be catered for. So Vigo said, "Oh, don't worry about it. We'll sort it out." And as soon as they were gone, he took his fishing rod. He carried his fishing rod everywhere, found a little stream, and came back 20 minutes later with 2 trout. And we cooked it over a fire. And we just talked, and there may have been a beer or 2 involved as well. But it was just one of those glorious, unique evenings in your life. And I remember it with affection and him with awe and respect.
Actually, one of my memories is very similar. Was an evening where they had to do a dawn shot the next day with Vigo and Legolas, a bunch of people, and it was up at dawn, coming up over the mountain, and so we decided we'd all go out the night before and stay there, camp there the night. And then we just sat up all night, and Barry Osborne was there, one of the producers, and he was telling all these amazing old sort of Hollywood stories of movies that he'd worked on. And we sat up by this campfire all night, and then when it got to dawn, they shot the scene, and it was just a really special night, just between a whole lot of cast, just camping out for the night.
Oh, I think I've already explained mine, which was with Christopher Lee, of course. That's the ultimate pleasurable moment ever in my career.
Next.
How are you lovely people doing this evening?
Pretty damn good considering the alternative.
My question is there a fan moment for each of you guys that has ultimately changed your guys' lives?
I didn't
A
catch.
fan moment that has ultimately changed our lives. I couldn't say a particular moment, but I'm always bowled away by the stories that I have from people about the experience that they had watching these films with their families, and how much the fans have very much kept this world alive. Like, it really is the fans more than anything that has kept the Lord of the Rings going. And I get so many, in particular, women who come up to me and talk about Éowyn and how much they related to her character as a kid, and what sort of strength the character gave them. And that's a really beautiful thing to have been a part of that. So yeah, that's sort of a general kind of memory.
Well, it really amazes me of how many people buy the photo of Lurtz for their friends. I don't think they like them. But you meet a lot of fans from all over the world. Like this morning, we went to do the Ronald McDonald house and met, went with John this morning. And it's just amazing. It was Sioux Falls. We went to visit kids with cancer. So it's doing all those little bits, you know, not only as an actor of the films that they love, but actually going there to interact with them, because you know that they can't come to the show, so we go to them. So that's, you know, this morning was, she just had a liver transplant a couple of months ago. John entertained her and her friend this morning, and it was a wonderful sight to see. And that's a wonderful thing to actually witness and be there to actually see, and to give back to the kids as well.
All right, that's another $5 in your pocket, okay? Well, that's
That's why you slipped me that 20.
well, we dwarves are somewhat mean with the money, you know. I remember the first fan convention I went to before I did Lord of the Rings. I had to do it because I was promoting a show. And I thought, oh, God, what the heck am I doing that for? I mean, 500 people dressed up as Captain Kirk. Can't they get a life? And I went and saw, and slowly it dawned on me, actually, they did have a life. And some of their lives were very, very rich and marvelous indeed. I meet heroes here. There is a lady who is not in this audience today with her 43-year-old daughter who is so severely handicapped that she has had to look after her all her life. She's in a wheelchair and almost unresponsive. That sort of courage is something that few of us could ever match. What meeting the audience has done for me over the years is teach me how marvelous people are. It's made me realize that the younger me didn't like people very much at all. And the older person grows to like humanity and people more and more and more. Of course, as a footnote to that, it could be senility setting in. But I'm going to pass it off as you. Thank you.
What was your inspiration for getting your characters?
No, it wasn't the money, believe me.
No, you go.
Yeah.
For getting our characters, you mean like how did we get into character? And I was very much on the book all the time. I carried the book with me all the time. I read the book over and over. Whenever I was unsure about anything or how to approach it, I always went back to what Tolkien wrote. Originally, when I read the first scripts, there was all this stuff that had been written that was sort of nothing to do with the books, and they ended up getting rid of that and taking the story more back towards the books. So there were particular pieces of music that really inspired me. And it was, the whole world was there. When you arrived in New Zealand, they just set up everything for you to succeed, everything for you to be able to find this character, from the horse riding to the sword fighting to learning Old English to dialect coaches, everything. So it was just a matter of like having all this material to study. It was really fun.
With my characters, and you know, it definitely wasn't the money, because coming from New Zealand, we're a very low budget film sort of franchise. I was born and bred there, and I've done a lot of movies in New Zealand, and therefore they pay very badly. However, Lord of the Rings came along, had a bigger budget, and they just did a slight better day-by-day payment rate. But to actually get into my characters was actually getting into the character itself once my makeup was done. Like after the 11-hour makeup, and just trying to feel the character that way. Because when I auditioned for the Uruk-Hai, they asked me if I had read the book. And I said, "Have you seen the book? It's about that thing, right?" I said, "Hell no." And they said, "Oh, well, you're going to be playing an Uruk-Hai." And I went, "Okay, what's that?" They had no hypnosis of the characters to give me a little bit of, you know, they're big and they're grumpy. And I went, "Well, that's half the population." And but had no real sense of the character until I was actually in that character. My makeup artist would leave me with a mirror that probably cracked a few times, but yeah, and it just left me to play with the characters in there. Because I played 3 different characters, I had to do that to give it the similarity, differentiate each character so they're not the same, with voices, with movement. So yeah, it's just a lot of practice to actually get into those characters.
You start with a script. Any of you become filmmakers or directors, you start off with a great script. That indicates the character as it should be. The problem with Lord of the Rings as a book is it's unfilmable. And to turn it into a movie, you have to invest an enormous amount in differentiation with your actors. We decided, for instance, on Tolkien's cue, that the elves would have a slight Welsh lilt to their musical voices. We know that the hobbits are really Somerset, southwestern England, Somerset, people like that, you know, nice people. but they do talk a bit funny like that sometimes. And then there was the problem with Gimli. What was left, I thought? Well, I could do him Irish. Hey, he could be a little Irish dwarf. Ha! Bring your pretty face to my axe. But I wanted to go Scots. There's something. I mean, there are lots of accents in Britain, and there are certainly lots of accents in Scotland. But Edinburgh is a very refined and very posh way of speaking English properly. If you're going to really find the English spoken properly, you ask the Scots or even the Welsh sometimes. The English have no clue how to speak English. But then there's that area around Glasgow, which is a lot more back in the throat. And it's got a slight sense of aggression to it. And I wanted that as part of Gimli. That instant fire, that xenophobia, that pick a quarrel at any time. And Peter and I settled on that as being a plausible way of doing it. The other thing with my character is we are faced with a script that has no comic relief at all. And Peter and I discussed it and thought, you know, we need to be able to discharge the tension that comes from certain scenes by having a laugh from time to time. And I said, look, Gimli has got to be that character. The secret to Gimli, of course, is he doesn't realize he's small. And that in itself is funny. So you take all those considerations in. You serve the script, you serve the director's vision, and you cobble it together, and you end up with, as Peter did end up with, a masterpiece of film.
Hello. My question is, what is the least favorite subject you had in school?
A double maths class, which lasted for at least 17 hours every time it happened. Time is a relativistic experience.
What was that?
What about you, Lawrence?
What was the question?
What was your least favorite subject in school?
He didn't go to school.
School itself. Waking up, actually, to go to school. Actually, I hated maths, hated science, hated geography, hated actually quite a lot of everything. But now I'm rather good at it. I can do maths. I know my geography now because I've traveled all over the world. I kind of like it now. I didn't like it then, but I like it now.
Mine was definitely swimming. In Australia, we all had to swim like from a really early age at school, and they'd make you, and I'd fallen in a pool when I was really young and I'd nearly drowned, so I had a real fear of water, and they used to make you run through these showers and get in the pool like from when we were about 5, and I found swim class really terrifying, did not like it. I can swim now, but it took me a long time to learn to swim.
Hello, greetings, and welcome, John and Miranda and Lawrence. It's good to have you with us. My well, I have to improvise a bit. What is what are some of the most intense and scary favorite Lord of the Rings scenes, or even The Hobbit? Since it's getting close to the season of Halloween, so gotta think scary. So, what was your favorite scary sequences in the Lord of the Rings films?
The giant spider.
Did they have to be the ones that we were in or ones that we watched? Either way. I guess Mines of Moria I really love. To be in Killing of the Witch King, that was intense. That was an intense few days. I was bruised all over by the end of it. Like, Peter Jackson likes to do a lot of takes of everything. Like, 20 takes is pretty common. So when you're kind of doing those things and throwing yourself on the ground millions of times, you end up pretty battered by the end of it. I was pretty sore, but it was good.
Yeah, mine would have had to have been all the fight scenes that I was in with all three characters. The most dangerous, I would say, with the fight with Aragorn. Just after I killed Boromir. But that fight scene was incredible. When I threw the shield at him and plugged him up against the tree, I went, is he going to move when I come in with the sword? He goes, yeah, he'll be able to get out. He'll be able to get out. Oh, I could just see his head. No, his eyes were getting wider as I was coming up. I was going, please move, please move. And then he moved, and then right where my sword hits, it throws the spark off. And then as soon as I see that spark, I went, oh, phew. Now we can carry on with the rest of the scene. But then he stabs me in the leg. And then I stutter back. And then I pull it out. And then I just lost concentration because I was so stuffed up from that previous scene that I just stopped. And then Peter stopped and goes, are you all right? And I went, can I add something into here? And he goes, what would you like to do? And I went, can I lick my blood off the knife? and Peter being Peter, loves any suggestions any of the actors want to give towards your character. And he goes, yeah, love it, love it, love it, love it. So they put black molasses on there. I don't like sweet stuff, but I licked it off. And that was so cool. Staggered back, licked it off, and threw it back at him. When I threw it back at him, they stopped, and then they changed my soft lenses to hard lenses. I don't know if anyone wears contact lenses. Soft lenses, then they do hard lenses. And the hard lenses are like half a ping pong ball, and it sucks onto your eye. They only did that because of the close-ups, and then once I've licked it, I've got to throw the knife back at Aragorn. Well, once they changed the eyes, the lenses, I licked the blade, and I can't see anything. I can't see anywhere. I could just see trees, and it goes, oh, and I said, just point me in the direction of where Viggo is, because he's got to give me my eye. Got to be my eye for where I throw it. I'm not supposed to throw it to him. I'm supposed to throw it on the side of him. Okay, here we go. Got stabbed in the leg, staggered back, and I went, oh shit, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Lick it. Oh, who cares? Then they cut to the wide scene of me doing exactly the same thing on a wide shot with Viggo in it. Well, that shot where I throw it at Viggo, I actually throw it at Viggo. And he deflects the knife. The great thing about that is that Pete didn't have to edit that. He just kept it in. Once I threw the knife, I had to stand still because I couldn't see anything or what happened after that until they yelled cut. Once they yelled cut, Gino comes up behind me because he's my makeup artist. And he goes, "Did you see that? Did you see that?" And I went, "I can't see shit, mate. What do you want me to do?" And then he goes, "You threw the knife at Vigo." And I went, "Wasn't I supposed to?" Because no, you're supposed to throw it away from him. And I went, "Is he okay?" He goes, "Yeah, he deflected it." And I went, "Oh, thank God." But that was scary. That was the most scariest of them all.
There are a lot of stories or myths from the filming of the sets. And I was wondering if you guys have any stories or myths from filming that are just total BS, that all the fans believe are real.
Oh, God.
I'm not really an Uruk-Hai. Or a Witch King.
I can't think of any that are BS. Like, I haven't heard anywhere I've thought, oh, that's completely not true. A lot of the myths are really true. Can you think of any that aren't true, John?
Believe nothing. We're down to 4 minutes and 50 seconds. Let's move on.
If any of you could be any other character from the movie, either gender, I just have a weird voice, okay? So if you could be another character in the movies, either gender, who would you choose to be?
I was actually going to play Frodo. And they kept on saying that I was a little bit too tall. And I said, well, if John Rhys-Davies can play a dwarf, I'm sure I can play a hobbit. However, they got someone else for the role.
I think I could have done Arwen. And I find in you, Miranda, a real Sauron, actually.
That sounds good. That sounds good. I wouldn't mind playing Sauron. That'd be cool.
Will that answer your question? Who's next?
I just want to shout out that is your biggest Lord of the Rings fan you'll ever meet. He's my son, Hunter.
Oh, well done.
With a name like that, I don't think you should introduce me to him.
What was the most painful time that you had while acting?
What was it?
Painful.
Every day in makeup, taking that damn makeup off was painful. By the way, I like your fez.
I think I would say after the battle with the Witch King, definitely. That was the sorest I've ever been.
That wasn't me. That was my double. But every fight scene you had to leave with bumps, bruises, scrapes, scratches, especially when you're fighting Gimli.
Thank you, each of you, for being so generous with your time and being here today.
Thank you.
So for the three of you, because you had a variety of characters and superb costumes that you got to wear, made by Nyla and Richard and the folks at Weta, which was your favorite costume of all, or favorite piece of the costume?
I had so many beautiful costumes. It was one of my favorite things. Every time we'd have a wardrobe fitting and they'd come up with another amazing costume. But my favorite for Éowyn is the white dress because she's the White Lady of Rohan. I wish I had asked to keep the dress. They asked me what I would like to keep, and I said, oh, I'd like my sword, which I got, and I would like my belt because I thought they'd never give me the dress. So I got this beautiful silver belt that they had handcrafted. But then I found out Liv asked for her dress and she got it. So I didn't aim high enough. I wish I had the dress. And I know Peter Jackson has all of that stuff. He has it all down in Wellington because I went back there recently and they pulled out a whole lot of my old costumes. They were all like sitting in the office there. So it still exists. I wish I could have had the white dress.
A dwarf only has one costume and he wears it proudly. Next question.
I've wondered this for a long, long time. How did they make the hobbits so darn small, or are they naturally that size?
Surgery. Next question.
Who is your favorite character from the entire franchise, if you had to pick one?
Samwise. He's the heart and soul.
I kind of like Aragorn. Even though he killed me, I loved his character.
Frodo. Accompanied, of course, by a certain well-known handsome dwarf. Next question.
All right, I was wondering if you guys improv'd anything on the sets?
What was that?
Whether we improv'd anything. Not so much because, I mean, really, the script was very set. I didn't improvise any dialogue or anything. It wasn't that kind of a film where you could make up dialogue. I don't know if anyone improv'd anything physical. No,
I improvised a lot with the director's assent and consent, and sometimes advice.
Okay, I was wondering what was the culture like when filming The Lord of the Rings, and if you miss it or not.
I definitely miss it. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I knew that when we were there. We were like a big family all that time in New Zealand, and like all of our spare time we sort of spent with each other as well. Whenever you went out, everyone was always out. It was just a really exciting thing to be a part of.
Well, I still live there, so I'm still in the culture. So.
Okay, I was wondering if you are still in contact with any of the cast?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
I tend to see a lot of the Australian cast members because I'm living down there currently. But yeah, no, I am still in contact with people. Yeah.
Next question.
Yes, for Miranda and John, the two of you recently had the opportunity to reprise your roles as Éowyn and Gimli in War of the Rohirrim and Return to Moria. What was that like to come back to it after so long and to be as a voice role?
Fascinating. Fascinating, yes. It's very odd, though, to go back and do something that you did 25 years ago. Very odd.
Really odd, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I had the same experience. The first time I did an initial recording and I was in Los Angeles and I went into a studio and I wasn't in the room with Philippa or any of the people who were with the production. They were sort of down the line. And it was really hard to kind of really get back into it. But then when we did the final record, I went back to the studios in Wellington, and that made all the difference to be in the room with everyone. And it was actually kind of hard. I thought, oh, they'll like it that my voice is like more mature now. And they were like, no, we want you to sound exactly like you sounded then. Which was harder, but it was really a moving experience going back because it was the same lot of people who work at Park Road Studios there, and it was sort of like this opportunity to go back in time just for this really short period. It was special. Did you find it like that, John?
Yes, but I think that we're now a minute over our time. Can we just... How many more questions are there? Well, that meant 2 questions. All right, we'll do it very quickly. Come on.
I have a question for you. What was it like playing in the Mormon Tabernacle Choir as the ghost of Christmas present hanging on wires in the air?
It was wonderful. Wonderful. Flying over an audience is just glorious. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that one. Yes.
Well, I had the great privilege of being in New Zealand in February. I went to Middle Earth, and it's very remote. It's absolutely spectacular and unique. But I was wondering what your day was. Was you able to stay out there? Did you have to travel every day? Kind of what was your normal day like in a filming?
It depended where we were shooting, really. If we're on location or if we're at the studios.
There was that memorable time when we were shooting. I don't know that we were there. We were down in Queenstown, and it was raining a bit. Oh, that was the day the call sheet went out. There will be no filming tomorrow as the lake is underwater. Not only the lake, but about 20 square miles around the lake. That was the time where we all got issued with Wellington boots and walked to the step ladder to climb to the first floor of the hotel because the ground floor was flooded. And it was a moment of genius, actually, because there had been so much rain it had wiped out 12 houses and that had pushed them right across the main road. So instead of the production office being 3 miles away from the town, it was now about 19 all around the lake, single-track road. When you're in a big production, if something goes wrong, it can really throw things completely out. The genius of the production of that show showed just then. We did not film that day. We then had to move 200 crew, horses, to another part of New Zealand, and arrange accommodation for them. And you understand, there wasn't that much accommodation available at short notice. And we traveled the following day, and the day after, we picked up the show somewhere else. It was a tribute to the organizational genius of Jackson's team.
You guys, we've run out of time. Can you please give a huge round of applause for Lawrence, Miranda, and John, everybody?